Okay, let's try this again. Has some feedback issues. Okay, let's try this again. Has some feedback issues. Okay, let's try this again. Has some feedback issues. Okay, let's try this again. Has some feedback issues. Okay, let's try this again. If y'all can hear me right, type a comment or something, y'all. Has some feedback issues. Because I'm hearing my own shit like 4 times back to back. If y'all can hear this, comment and say some shit. Type a comment or something. I don't know exactly what's going on here. If you are on a live stream now, and if you can hear this, type something, say something, whatever. So I can, yeah, it's an echo, right? I don't know where the fuck that's coming from. If y'all are hearing this audio, if it's good to y'all, I'll just mute it myself so I don't hear myself. Is there an echo still going now? Somebody, Devon Barber said there's an echo at 11:37 p.m. I just muted myself. So if it's went away and if we can proceed, if the vast majority of y'all are hearing it, cool. If y'all type it in, then cool. I'm going to keep moving forward. Everybody says slight echo. Echo went away. No echo. No echo. Cool. It's good. Trench work. What's up, Dev? No echo. All right, cool. I don't know what the fuck that was. I just started learning about the internet a few years ago. All right. With this being the case, y'all, we're going to jump right into it. To everybody that's coming again, if you want to give a super chat towards the work, that's great. All of your donations and super chats will go towards the same work. I gotta be clear about a lot of this stuff and reiterate things a few times, because what generally happens is motherfuckers forget, or Instagram will take a page or something like that, and some new people are coming. So to be clear, all of the super chats that you give, if you have a business that you want to promote, if you got a question that you want to ask about the overall situation, to give a super chat, all of that goes towards our work at Black Guns Matter. I'm not in frame, is what Dev just said. I don't know what the fuck that means. Dev, what does that mean? I'm not in frame. I'm out the box generally. Hey, somebody else tell me what I'm not in frame means. It means I got to do this. Is that better, guys? Okay, cool. Somebody said the Matrix is real, just came through it. So again, guys, tonight we're gonna Chuck Rose with the super chat. Appreciate that, Chuck Rose, for $4.99. If you are doing a super chat, take that time to promote a cause or something, even if you don't got your own personal business or something like that. Do that. So let's go back. And there's a reason why I'm saying this. Top of the head is cut off. Well, I don't give a shit about that. I don't care. All right, cool. All right. See, Dev started that. Let's go back a bit. Actually, Dev, Trenchwork Chronicles 1 is doing some great work with Kids to Kings. Some other things he got coming up pretty soon too. Dev, actually, I remember a year or two ago when we had this conversation. And in this conversation, I was explaining. First of all, I want to be clear that I said a few years ago that can't see your elbows. What the fuck does it matter, guys? IPS then. They're moisturized. My elbows are moisturized. Come on, guys. What the hell? Good brother IPS then was I think you over in Boston, if I'm not mistaken. Big follower, big supporter of our work for some time now. Good brother. I don't have an Instagram anymore, y'all. Well, I got a new one. Big Daddy Toure. I know some of the guys ain't gonna want to type that in, but just type it in, guys. Come on. And he was a supporter of of our work for a very long time. I remember his handle there. All right. So Boston, right? I was correct. So I want to go back a bit. When I was talking to Dev a while ago, years ago, I said that Joe Biden was going to win. Some of my friends were like, "Yo, you are bugging. You are out of your mind." Pat Brown says, "I can't see your chin." You're bugging. You're out of your mind because there's no way that Donald Trump loses to Joe Biden, so forth and so on. I had saw this before. I had saw this before in a Philadelphia mayoral race where Michael Nutter, who was the mayor of 2 mayors back, he was the mayor, and he was like a nasally dude, and the person that everybody thought was going to win was Shaka Fatah. Okay, and every single person, I was like, nah, Shaka, this guy, Michael Nutter, he's a weirdo, but his position is a little bit, you know what I mean, a little bit stronger. Censorship against the middle path. Thank you for that super chat. $5 segregated socialism. So when Trump and everybody was so arrogant that Trump was definitely going to win, I was like, on the second go around, I knew that he didn't do things during the first term that followed up on what he said he was going to be. He was weak on the Second Amendment. He's a war hawk, like most Republicans and Democrats are. He was still getting wars going. But what I did like that he was doing, he was good for the business of America. Okay, he was good for the business of America, for businesses and economics in America. And I was critical of Trump in those areas. I'm a Second Amendment, liberty, freedom dude. I'm a libertarian. I'm not a Republican, but I have conservative values in some areas. And so I remember saying this. I remember I said it to Cheryl Todd over the phone, and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Watch, he's going to win. They're going to cheat. Everyone thinks Joe is the sleeper. He's crazy. It was the drunken monkey technique. Lo and behold, Joe Biden wins, so forth and so on. Bam. Now, this is, again, to everybody that's coming in, this is backstory a little bit, okay? Now, mind you, the years prior, I've been to, appreciate that, BB Gaines. I've been to CPAC a few years in a row. We had one of the most impactful panels that I put together at CPAC after they said, "Yo, Mons, you got the whole stage to yourself again." I put together people, melanated conservatives, not to diss our non-melanated conservative brothers and sisters, but there were other voices that needed to be heard because the direction that some of the more popular so-called conservative voices were going, especially the ones that were Black, were sounding stupid. Now, I want to be clear, okay? I want to be very clear about this. I did Candace Owens' show. I've been to a few Blexit rallies. I did the Youth Black Leadership Summit for Turning Point. So I've been in these rooms. And sometimes to see what's in the room, you got to go in the room. And I noticed there was a lot of pep rally and all of this other good stuff, but it was the same old talking points. So I watched, but I was very, I was in the back. I was there when Trump was in the White House, and he addressed a bunch of young Black folks with the MAGA hats on in the White House. I was there. I, by design, was kind of invisible. My fucking suit was amazing, okay? My suit was fucking immaculate. It was. But it was very few pictures of that, A few people, Dev was there. Trenchwork Chronicles, he was there, okay? There was a few, Rel was there. Few people. And I played it and I watched it. Now, what Trump said there, I agreed with. But of course, he got spin and cut out of context and all that other good stuff. But bigger than that, I was in a room full of people that at the time I was like, okay, this concept of Blexit, this concept of getting these young people to speak up, and they have the right, even as melanated beings, as humans, we have the right to express. Z Real Estate Group said, I took a photo with you in that suit. Yeah, the suit was amazing. But this group of people have a right to express themselves. And it was Blexit stands for the Black Exit from the Democratic Party. Me already being a libertarian that had already I went from Democrat to Republican to Libertarian to, and you continue to evolve. I knew that there was, back and forth that needed to be there. And I was there, right? There's pictures of me with Candace and Brandon and all of these different people. But what I started to see over the few years was a bunch of just we're here riding Trump's wave. As a celebrity politician, that's what Trump is and was. As a celebrity politician, we have to be very careful. We have to make sure that we are maintaining integrity on our values. If those are conservative values, if those are libertarian values, independent values, no being is bigger than the movement. No being is bigger than the concept. But what I started to see was, guys just saying pretty much we want to dunk on the left. You have to do more than that for me to get all the way on board. I don't care about you dunking on Biden, dunking on Obama, all of that. It's the same thing on both sides. And I was critical of the Trump administration. I was critical of their weak stance on the Second Amendment because I'm actually a free thinker. I actually do what the fuck I want to do, not tied to anything other than my individual liberty and what I believe to be is best for my individual self, my family, and my community, and expanding outwardly. That's what conservatism is supposed to be ideologically. You change the world by changing the individual, and that individual impacts his family or her family, and you spread that way. The so-called liberal ideology, currently under that definition of liberalism, they believe that you can change the world for the better by using the state and like a trickle down. From the conservative, it's the individual liberties up, and the way that they do it is the opposite. Okay. But when I saw somebody said, don't pay attention to the trolls. I didn't see any trolls. And now I'm looking for trolls because you said it. Don't think about elephants. What you think about elephants? When I started to see that this was more of a pep rally type situation, saying how great Trump was and he was above reproach, I noticed two things. One, I said, these people are just riding a wave, and I've never heard them speak of any prominent, and I'm going to say black for context sake, any black or any actual prominent conservatives other than Trump. I said it. I was on record. That's when they started like, we're not going to invite Maj to the party. I don't give a fuck about your party. I'm cool as fuck, and I don't really party like that, right? And I was a libertarian the entire time. Okay. I started to recognize that, and I was critical. I recognized that when some of my NRA type-ish folks was quiet about the fact that President Trump initiated more restrictions federally on our Second Amendment rights, right? Than Obama in one term, and Obama did in two. And that's a talking point, but it's accurate. Okay. Then the statements of things like take the guns first, due process later. That's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. I was critical about these things during a time when Trump in his presidency was at the height of his popularity. Then people start saying I'm not playing ball. That's around the time when bitch ass Rob Smith unfollowed me on all of the social media platforms, all of that other type of goofy shit. Okay. All of it again, that we start to see the difference between an Adrian Norman, who's a conservative black man that expresses conservative values, but can address things based on the facts of the matter and the data, not just tap dancing for Trump. So that's a difference between a Adrian Norman and a Rob Smith, right? Some of these guys are just curated and like fit the mold of what it's supposed to safely be. They're politicians. They're politicians, okay? So I started to recognize this and started saying it. And then I started to notice this man right here that's on your screen, Brandon Tatum. Now, I have no personal animosity towards Brandon Tatum. I want to be very clear about that. There's nothing in his world that I don't have access to, literally and figuratively. But there's a lot of my world that he will never have access to. I tried to make the point of, building coalitions and trying to direct Brandon in a different direction when I noticed that, again, more of them saying so-called conservative, which aren't really conservative. It's bigoted type of shit that hidden under the guise of conservatism that these guys like him would repeat. Every time it was a black man murdered by foot soldiers for the state, somehow based on Brandon, it was the black dude's fault. Both them G's damn near deserved it. It seemed like every time I had dinner with him, it was a dinner that I went to with Terrence, the comedian dude, right? It was Terrence, it was David Harris Jr., it was Brandon Tatum, it was myself. It was after the Atlanta Blexit rally. That was when what's his name? Kingface was still visible. Okay. I had dinner with them and I was trying to explain the concept of more libertarian concept of allowing people to make, I didn't know he disrespected Nipsey. Allowing people to make the decision for themselves about drug use. I morally, as an ex-drug dealer, right? Outside of the violence that goes associated with the state making it unlawful, and the violence is over turf, generally selling drugs is a very non-violent situation. The person wants the weed or the heroin or the pills or whatever. They have the money. They have the money. You have the stuff. That's commerce. Everyone knows that heroin will fuck you up over time. That's what happens. But he couldn't struggle around. He struggled around a concept at that dinner, and I was like, this dude can't really get outside of this so-called conservative or bootlicking for the state box. Then you got to remember, he's an ex-cop. He goes around calling himself an officer. He's not an officer anymore. He's not an officer. He's a commentator. He's not even like a player on the sideline, like a 12th man. He's a commentator spectating and talking about it from the sidelines. That's what most YouTube personalities are until you see them doing things, right? And I'm not knocking YouTube because I think I'm a YouTuber now. I think I'm a YouTuber. I say this all the time. I joke to myself, I'm a YouTuber. Other than my actual work, I'm a YouTuber, right? But it's more of a status, okay? Again, to everybody that's coming in, smash the like, thumbs up button, whatever it is in here. Let's get the energy going. And I'm going to go into this video real quick, okay? But I wanted to make sure that it was important that I gave you guys some backstory on why this is going this direction and why I'm going to absolutely demolish this dude in this breakdown, okay? So I noticed that I noticed that with, Candace. And again, I have no animosity towards Candace. Candace has never said anything disrespectful to me or about me. I've done her show. First of all, I don't argue with women. So that's number one. Even when I did her show, we disagreed on Colin Kaepernick and we kept it moving. I think there's an entry level to someone that is just waking up, that's just becoming woke, that's getting out of the Democratic sleep. I think lower level conversations like the type that Brandon Tatum has are important. I'll be clear about that. When someone it's more difficult for someone to take in context how I come off because it's so much information, right? It's so much information, it's layered and it's nuanced. And if you haven't went through some of the studies first, it can be confusing. You don't get to trigonometry unless you took algebra. You don't get algebra unless you got basic math. Brandon Tatum and these types of very basic bitch math, okay? Because they're statist. They're not conservative, okay? He's not conservative. They say they may be Republican, but they have done nothing to preserve the republic, okay? They've advocated for more police power, for more power of the state. That is in opposition to individual sovereignty that goes along with a constitutional republic. Okay? Michael Omeyer, if I'm saying that right. Trenches, appreciate you. Question, do I think Trump is more of a libertarian than a Republican? No, I don't. Hope you can do a BGM in Dayton, Ohio. Absolutely. No, he's not. He's not a libertarian. Trump is and the phrase that you'll hear a lot is Trump is a New York Democrat and was the entire time. Let's just be clear. Okay? Dev just said something that I think is very important. They want the government to control them just in their own way. Statism is liberalism. So no, they're entry level to people that are just waking up out of the concept of like, yo, the Democratic Party is great. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with that. The libertarian ideology and with an independent twist is more where I think the country needs to go. And I've said this for years. Okay, in addressing Brandon Tatum and more of his statements that are they just get behind these cliches. Back to blue. We support our police. We support 45. All of these clickbait, very shallow statements and sentiments are things like that people that are made up of people like Brandon. And I started calling it out, and the shoe dropped. The other shoe dropped for me when I think it was Ahmaud Arbery. And during that time, he was changing himself to physically look like me. If you notice, he's got a fuller beard now. For a while, he was twisting his hair up. He started wearing his shirts to look like me, started wearing his hat backwards. I noticed that. But what started to happen was the people that I was trying to reach, because he was more popular, he starts to look like what you have to be as a black conservative or a black libertarian or a black whatever, because a beginner to that phase doesn't know the difference. They are not aware of the nuance. So when all of the statements, and I keep getting texts like, yo, I know you know him, but he's saying some dumb shit. And I start getting those phone calls, and you start to look like me. He was usually a suit and tie type of dude. Then he started wearing hoodies and the hair he got on a chain. I don't even wear jewelry like that. But my point is, he started to make himself look like me. His PR team or his lady or whoever, he started to do that, and I was cool with it until it starts to conflict with the outreach that I'm doing in a community where we actually need the work, communities that they don't actually go in. Okay? And that's very important to acknowledge. Okay? There's value in somebody being a basic bitch when the basic bitch leads you into some good shit. Okay? They're a stepping stone. Brandon Tatum and that basic thought mentality of a statist is a little bit right of where people that are on the left or like inculcated. Okay? So I started calling that out when he in essence said that basically Ahmaud Arbery deserved it. And it was always the black guys that get killed by the state deserved it. They bring up their criminal history, all of this other shit. Now that's the backdrop. Because I know people are in here. Again, if you're here, smash the thumbs up, like button, whatever. If you have a business you want to promote, do the what do you call it? The fucking super chat thing. Okay. Now, I publicly I said, listen, and this tweet exists. You can change your image to look like me, but we are worlds apart. I just got tired of people like him attacking people that were murdered by the state because they're statists, because they're bootlickers. So I had to create a clear distinction. Especially when you start making yourself look like me or attempting to look like me. Okay. We ain't the fucking same at all. I do work in the hood. I live in the hood. I have the financial means to not live in the hood. I choose to rebuild and establish our community like the founding fathers did. Okay. I choose to be an actual or live conservative values, but politically, I am a libertarian. Okay. I choose to embody the things that these guys just pump their fist about and do rallies about. I choose to do that. So I had to create a distinction. And then it created a space that I was challenged when I critiqued him. And I said, okay, let's debate about it. Last year at the Solutionary Summit, going on 2 years now, I said, I got $50,000. We can debate the issues of your choice. Come do it at the Solutionary Summit. They didn't. I continued to highlight voices that were solid black conservative voices. Sonny Johnson, Trenchwork Chronicles, Dev, who's in here, Jeff Charles, Adrian Norman, Shamika Michelle, Rhonda Mary, Angela Stanton King. People that these guys seem to all have a problem with because somehow they believe that being a black conservative means you got to dunk on black people. You got to diss black people. You got to Eric July. You got to diss people that, meaning Eric July is a solid person on the so-called right. He's a libertarian. You got to diss somehow to be accepted and be popularized by the conservative view. You have to not address black issues. And if you address them, it has to be negative towards those black folk. Okay. I highlighted people that show that you could address things objectively without being super, I hate white people, but still call out the bullshit of the state. Call out racism, like legit racism, not, oh, they're wearing a MAGA hat, so they're racist. So we highlighted that. Okay. Jeff Charles is in here, actually. Jeff Charles with the super chat. A lot of black conservative types, Tatum included, are just as status as AOC. Their statism just looks different. Two sides of the same coin. Boom. Boom. Joseph C. Carter says running for state senate in Florida. Yo, that's his website. Go check it out, josephccarter.com. Okay? So I'm saying this all to say this is the backdrop. And so I started being very critical while highlighting voices that showed that you could address these black issues, which are conservative issues, which are liberty-based issues, without every time the black person being right or wrong. Okay? Con Inc. started to get upset about that. Then they tried to send the goofball that lived with his mom, allegedly, Bryson, bro, your bars is weak and the whole situation is just suspect. Your shorty's not hot. It's just what it is. I can't really address men that don't got hot women on they. I'm joking, clearly, but my point in that is he's not on my radar because I can't really respect nobody that's not doing the work in the community where the conservative and liberty movement is needed, the hood. You dunk on and say the black community need to Brexit, get off the Democratic plantation, but I don't see you in the field getting people free like Harriet Tubman. I see you just talking down on them. So they run from the debate. They do all of this other stuff. And I've made a public, I created a space on one of the biggest conservative platforms, took my space and said, put a bunch of these other different voices and travel it around the country at different times to be supportive of those voices as well. Tatum goes on that platform and does a review or a reaction video to that CPAC panel, which, to keep it a buck, we had the highest generated interest for CPAC in the last maybe 10 years. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Okay? So he does a reaction video saying we're coming at Candace Owens, who I like. I like Candace. I disagree with a lot of the shit that she says, but she's never disrespected me. And we weren't. We were talking about a concept that, you can be Carlton from The Fresh Prince, and that was Shamika's example, and there's Wills. Some people are different for different demographics, okay? Adrian Norman, I joke with him all the time. He like a fucking, what's that guy's name? He like a handsome Essence, Morris Chestnut, Tay Diggs type of motherfucker that can articulate the points professionally to like Essence magazine, but then he could be in the hood, right? But his public persona is we'd put him there. If you're doing outreach in Compton like I do, you say Maj, okay? My point in that is we created a distinction, and since then we've been attacked by people like Brandon. Years ago, I said when Trump, going back to the beginning of this, I said when Trump lost, because I called it, I said it, I probably tweeted it. These people was going to have to get a new hustle. I have, if you on my Twitter, at Maj Toure, I just quote tweeted the tweet from January of 2021 where I was addressing when I said it in 2019. When Trump loses, these people are going to be scrambling to try to create a new thing. Now that Trump has still been pro-vaccine, which is some, an anti-mandate, Trump wants to be pro-vaccine because he wants to talk about Operation Warp Speed. Operation Warp Speed is what created the lane for these vaccinations to be looked at as the cure-all, when in reality, we had over 40 million people have watched this new Joe Rogan podcast with Dr. Peter McCullough, which if you haven't watched it, you should, showing that we had early treatment of hydrochloroquine, ivermectin, and all of these different things that were already being used to deal with certain types of coronaviruses. Okay? So now that Trump is talking more pro-vaccine because he was down with Operation Warp Speed and he kept Fauci on, these are things that we were critical of Trump for when Trump was in office. These goofballs were quiet because Trump was in position and they wanted a pat on the head from Trump. Meanwhile, I was hanging out at CPAC still being critical of the policies because this ain't about attacking a man or a woman. It's about attacking the things that they say. And when they're in positions of power, critiquing the legislation or deeds that they do while in office. But they didn't want to do it then because that was their bread and butter at that time. But Big Daddy Toure told y'all. I tweeted it. I challenged it. I've been wrong about one thing on Twitter in the last 5 years. I tweeted tweets where I was wrong, where I said, we won't even be talking about COVID in 2 weeks. I didn't even understand the level of well-orchestrated control that they were trying to use with COVID. So that's the thing that I was wrong about in the last 5 years, right? That's just the reality. Okay, let me go over some of these super chats and move forward. My guy Jeff Charles said, shouts to my fellow Carltons. You know what I'm saying? BKNY said Republicans are just the inverse of Democrats. They like the state just as much as Democrats. I'm voting gold from now on. Boom. IPS then says, Maj, a lot of these real voices being heard more now. How do you see things moving in 22 and 24? Good question. It's moving in the direction that I said it was going to move 3 years ago. I'm telling y'all, go look at that quote tweet. You're going to see a lot of these people saying they're libertarian now. And I'm not mad at it, okay? I'm not mad at it. You're going to see a lot of these people saying libertarian, or now they're going to start saying independent because I've been calling them, they move. In that tweet, I said, some of those guys are going to go super spiritual. Some of those guys are going to go pro-black. They got to find another grift because people like Brandon Tatum, they don't understand the concept of conservatism. They don't read enough. They're not well studied enough. That's why he's afraid to do a debate with me. The second year, I said, okay, do the debate this year at the second Solutionary Summit. I'll put $100,000 on myself. Somebody else got to hold the cash, though, because I don't believe enough people buying enough of your bullshit merch. I said that publicly. He ain't do it. $100K, he ain't do it. He said I wasn't going to have the first Solutionary Summit. He don't got no event. He don't got no space. We grow in 1 year. Second year, we did part of it on a yacht down in Miami. We had a great time. We had a great time while doing the work. Okay? So that's the direction that's going in 22 and 24. They're going to grift into a different thing, and it's good in the, like I said, these guys are basic bitches. So because they basic bitches, if they shift into consciousness, they're going to have a basic bitch consciousness rap, but they're going to open the door up for some people that's waking up, and they could bypass, fly right through their basic fake woke shit to some actual woke shit. That's the direction it's going to go. You know what I'm saying? If you don't need a government overseer, welcome to anarcho-libertarian spectrum. Being a free-range taxpayer for the state is not freedom. 100%. Good position, Bubba. Get some. And I want to get back to the point, but I want to make sure I give everybody the love for their super chats. Okay? Followed you from that Grapevine episode. You were killing them. Wished you would have chilled out a little so you could have kept killing them, but you did your thing. Salute. They kicked me off the joint. I couldn't control it, man. I couldn't control it. Main Man was saying they statist on the left. So Main Man was saying some dumb shit in that episode. So I had to, Now, again, I'm giving everybody some backdrop to why it's coming to this point. I called Josh Eternal. I missed your super chat. I don't know what you said. Let me find you again, bro. I ain't mean to do that to you. Let me scroll up, y'all. I don't want to get everybody they love. Everybody, if you got a super chat, you got a business that you want to highlight, please. Okay. What's my opinion of Kane as a candidate? Wait. Let me go to that in a second because I don't want to make me come back to that. All right. Boom. Grand Dragon KKK. We got the clan up in this bitch. Hey, it's like 8 of y'all. It's like 8 of you Klans members. How are you guys getting funding? Like, where are you, like, do you guys still, like, where do you buy the suits at? Do you guys still wear the robes, or like what's going on with that? But anyway, so we get the backdrop. We understand why, and now why I called them for being that dumb shit. If you're coming in, y'all, hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button. Yes, I know, right? Somebody in here is Grand Dragon KKK. That's just whatever. Leafy isn't here said something that I thought it was important to address real quick. I was a conservative until I found you, then I realized how screwed up it all is. Now let me clarify that a bit. I have conservative values in the sense of the nuclear family, a more of a traditional approach to family values. It's certain things I'm not going to talk about. I'm not going to share on like my personal life. Like everybody know I like Rihanna, but like y'all don't know like what type of my religion, if I got one. Like I think some of those things are personal. So I have conservative values. So I'm not saying that conservatism is bad. Frederick Douglass is one of my like heroes. He was conservative as the day is long. So it's not that conservatism is bad. Conservatism, as it's being presented as a bootlicker and a statist, is bad. Now, I get some people say, if you're a conservative, you believe in any type of government, which is a form of statism. I am a fan of very, very, very limited government. Okay. And I'm a fan of, that's why the libertarian part kicks in, because it's like, I want individual liberty. If y'all vote on some shit, y'all voted on that for y'all, not for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do what everybody does just because y'all voted on it. I could be the 10 out of the 10 and the other 9 people vote for a thing. I have the individual right and the liberty to not do that. Okay. But I do understand the importance of limited government in the sense of restricting government, right? Secure the borders, protect the country from war, interstate roads. Cool. That's your guys' job, right? But everything else, I believe free enterprise can handle that. Okay. But anyway, Empress Nkrumah for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that, sister. Right. Those are African values, 100%. Right. Empress Nkrumah says black people are naturally conservative. It's like the movie Black Panther. Wakanda was conservative as hell. Okay. So now let's speed up a bit because I don't want to waste a bunch of y'all time. Okay. So I called out these people like him not being what they said they was. Okay. Jeff Charles just said something important. If the Libertarian Party were a serious entity, I'd probably be a part of it. That being said, I do like what I'm seeing from the LP right now. Boom. Bang with the Mises caucus. They taking over. You know, my guy Mike Heiss and those guys are getting some of those goofballs in the Libertarian National Party out of the way on a national level, right? So that's important. Okay. Terry Renee says, think free, be free, libertarian vibe. 100%. Appreciate you, Terry, for that super chat. Okay, so we clearly show the difference between what conservative values are and what these people pretending to be conservative are not. I attempted to try to share information to kind of give him game to be different. He continued to attack black people that were being murdered by foot agents for the state because he's a statist. I created a clear delineation between actual conservative values and people doing it, and I used the platforms that were given to me, large platforms, to highlight that. And I created a distance between myself and those types. And I was critical without necessarily being disrespectful. Okay? Then I called out when Trump was going to lose, and then called out what goofballs like this were going to do to try to flip the script when it happened. Leafy isn't here, said, I honestly thank Tatum for leading me to see some BS, but also into seeing how blind conservatives are. 100%. Basic bitches have their role. You know what I'm saying? If you're a guy and it's the end of the nightclub and all of the hot girls that you wanted that night, you didn't land them, and then it's a basic chick at the end of the night, hey, got to do what you got to do. So basic bitch shit has its place. You know what I mean? So we bring to the video, and I'm going to ignore the chat for a little bit Just a little bit. Type in what you go so we can go back. But the Grand Master, what slave ship did I get? Oh, we got to block him. Block. Yeah. I don't know why they even do it. Like, I love blocking the shit out of people. Like, what are we doing? No. So Josh Eternal said Tatum, Glenn Beck, and Dave Rubin are starter packs. Dave Rubin and Tatum, yeah. Glenn Beck is sharp. He's smart. If y'all didn't see his presentation at the most recent CPAC, watch it. He's not dumb. He's not beginner. No. He says things more of a status publicly, but when you go into CPAC and watch some of the breakdowns that he does, that dude knows his shit, okay? But anyway, I said what dude was going to do. I said what these people was going to do, and today, this video, I want to share this with y'all. Tell me if y'all can hear it, because I'm on mute, but I don't know if y'all will be able to hear this, okay?
Pushes these vaccinations.
Nope.
And he talk about that the vaccine was.
So let me pause. Let me turn my shit. Wait, real quick, y'all. When I just hit play, could y'all hear that? Type it in the comment section if you could hear that. Let me know. Let me know if y'all can hear this, because I could run it back.
Best accomplishment I ever did, and everybody should be vaccinated.
Y'all can hear
People
it?
that are not vaccinated are the ones dying. The more he pushed this, the more I don't want to vote for him. If it can't right now, if he was the only one running a viable Republican, I'll vote for him. If it was him versus DeSantis, I'll vote for DeSantis. And here's the reason why. Republicans are the dumbest group.
Real quick, y'all. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to critique it after it plays. It's only a minute or so. I know what he said. I know what he said, but I can't hear it. Y'all probably going to hear an echo. Let me know if y'all can hear an echo.
Of politicians, not all, but as a collective, than anybody else. We are the only ones that are stupid enough to shoot ourselves in the foot. We cried about January 6th. So did President Donald Trump. Cried about January 6th. Made all these negative statements. And what did the left do? They used it against us. Donald Trump is out here right now saying that the vaccine is this, the vaccine is that, the vaccine is this, the vaccine is that. If what Trump said is true, and if it wasn't for the vaccines, all these people would have died, then how do you make the argument against mandating? This is how stupid Republicans are. And I feel like Donald Trump, what he's doing is reckless and stupid. How are you going to convince, first of all, January 6th, these are not my supporters. These are not my supporters. And then they can label them as domestic terrorists and put them in detention forever. And everything is fine. You said it, not them. You said it. You didn't take up for them. You put it out there. Now you talk about the vaccines. Now that Biden and them are saying, you must get vaccinated. You're ruining your family's lives. You have said that if it wasn't for the vaccine, all these people would have died. And that it's only the unvaccinated people that are getting sick. And it was the greatest accomplishment. And we did it in under so much time. It's safe. It's the safest thing you can do. You are giving them fuel to force mandate this vaccination. That's not all, folks. Then you add in arguing with the media every day, having Dr. Fauci in a position of power when he should have fired his.
Hey, I'm going to pause it right there. Somebody said, low key a little echo. I turned it up. All right. So I'm gonna mute it on my end, and I'm gonna just let it play out for the rest. Low key a little echo after I turned it up. So I'm gonna play. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this. I gotta figure this out. But I'm gonna play it in, you know what I mean?
A long time ago. When a man disagrees with you as the president of the United States, you are sending mixed signals. You don't leave that man in a position of power and give him access to speak on the same podium that you're speaking on.
Okay, so type in what y'all heard there. Y'all tell me. Okay, I'm gonna go into what I got from all of that. Okay, one. Now that it's convenient, because Trump is pro-vaccine, it's a contradiction. You can't say, I did all of this great work. The things that he's saying are true. These are things that we were saying about Trump for other issues when Trump was in office. But people like him, Trump could do no wrong because they wanted the pat on the head. When I said These people, again, go on my Twitter. It's the most recent quote tweet that I pulled up from early 21, talking about what I said in 2019. I said that these people were going to do that. In here, he's now distancing himself from the Republican Party, right? He's distancing himself. Oh, we stupid. We the dumb. Da, 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 da. Because of the reality is, because Trump is pro-vaccine and Trump is an actual New York Democrat, like we said, and Trump said years ago, decades ago, if I ran for president, I would probably run as a Republican because they're stupid. He's still parroting Trump's talking points from the 80s and 90s. But I told y'all, I said he was a goofball. I said he was a goofball, and I said the grift was going to shift up. He waited it out and rolled it out a little bit. They waited until maybe let's see what's up with the election integrity thing. Let's see if that gains steam. The GOP's been quiet about that. You ain't even heard nothing about the Arizona audits. You ain't even heard nothing about that. So now, even in the interview that Candace Owens just did, mind you, if you notice, a year or so towards the end of the Trump administration, Trump distanced himself from Candace Owens. Now, when she has him on her show, because he needed a bump, because he's been taking this hit in the mandates, what she grill him on? The mandates. She's got a video like this on one of her pages talking about, yo, I think he don't even like read nothing but mainstream news. He doesn't do the research. Wait a minute. You motherfuckers spent a whole 4 years saying that he was aware because he stayed away from fake news. Now you switching. Now it's convenient for you to jump shit, primarily because Trump and the pat on his own back talking about Operation Warp Speed, which should have never actually happened because we had hydrochloroquine, we had ivermectin, or what have you pronounce it. We had those things. He took them. These were the treatments that he took to get better. It's basically a miracle. It's great. Remember that? It's basically a miracle drug. But yet and still, he's saying, yeah, let's get why wasn't Operation Warp Speed for hydro and for ivermectin? Oh, he's playing 8D chess. No, call the bullshit. Call the bullshit when it's inconvenient. You know, nowadays, it's easy to get motherfuckers to say slavery was bad. You know when it wasn't convenient to say that shit? During fucking slavery, when Thomas Paine said it. Oh, but all of the people was doing it at that time. Yeah, because you got to actually be a fucking free thinker. This is yet another grift. All of the shit that he's saying right now is because he sees that Trump is not, if Trump runs again, he's not going to win. Or maybe he will. But it doesn't look like he is because he's so hard on this vaccine thing. So now it looks like, oh shit, he might not win, but you still got 2 years. You got to exist for 2 years until we figure out who's running again. Okay? So they're trying to shift the grift a little bit now. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Main Man later on was talking about, well, maybe everything the police do isn't right. Because the people recognize the bullshit that these people are shoveling. The difference is I was independent enough, and I'm not saying this on an arrogant tip. I'm saying this on a Main Man was talking all that shit, scared to debate, bitched up, basic bitch shit though, right? He talked all of that rah-rah, only to come around to what Big Daddy Toure said he was going to do. These boys is my sons. Puppets. I'm Geppetto. I know it. I've seen your type 1,000 times before, boy. Running around calling yourself. I know a lot of law enforcement. Good men, good women. I don't know no retired law enforcement that still call themselves officers. I don't. He do. That's a part of his handle because it was a part of the PR. You not a cop, boy. You a statist. And the moves of a statist are so predictable that in 2019, when it was inconvenient, I could see that shit coming 3-4 years away. And I want to be careful and I want to be critical. This is no disrespect to him as a man. This is a disrespect to his approach. This is a disrespect because I knew he was going to come around to where all roads lead to Maj. Maj is mostly right. Toure told you. I want to be critical of this thing and use him as the example because I got this so-called, you know, people be, I got receipts, right? That feminine shit. I got receipts. The reality is the tweets from years ago when I said this is what these people were going to do is what they're doing. Because it's no more bankable. The Trump 45 t-shirts ain't selling. You didn't galvanize the GOP to be critical and galvanize that base. We're talking about DeSantis now. I like what DeSantis is doing now, but DeSantis was down. Oh, a basic beat says, this is funny. This person's name is a basic bitch. Why you keep dissing me? What'd I do to you? That's actually hilarious. Thanks for the super chat, you basic bitch. DeSantis shut Florida down. And I get it. On one level, I understand the nervousness and we don't know what this is doing. But you shouldn't have shut down. South Dakota, if I'm not mistaken, didn't shut down, right? My point, I think it's South Dakota or North Dakota, one of them. But my point in saying that is DeSantis shut down and then opened back up. You don't get a pat on the back from me for violating our individual choice and liberty and then acting like you're the person responsible for giving it back to us. No, you don't. Okay? So it's very critical that we maintain a critical view of all politicians, regardless of if it's the guy that we like. I don't care if it's the guy that I like. You know what politician I like? I could call him on the phone right now, Thomas Massey. Think he's a great politician. You know, and when I say that, I mean by like public servant. I mean that way for him, right? I like where he's at. But if he starts saying, well, maybe we should issue mandates, I'm going to say Thomas is wrong on this one. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to be in the cult of Sassy with Massey. I think he's dope. And I think Sassy with Massey is an amazing hashtag. But if he starts saying something wrong, we have to be critical and not just do it because we're here for the grift. You know what I'm saying? Brandon Tatum popped in and said he's making money, though. Okay, cool. I don't know if that's really him. If it is really you, if you're making so much money, though, pull up. I got $150,000 on me, bro. What's up? I got $150K on me. But anywho, the reason why we have to be critical of these people is because of the fact that this ain't about, he's just a example, a small level, a microcosm of the bigger virus. The bigger virus is people that don't know about, which in turn, they can't stick to the principle that they say they advocate for. Okay? They don't know about conservatism and what it actually means, so they can't argue or debate the points. Their thought process is not nuanced enough. They haven't studied enough. I'm gonna do something real quick, y'all. Check this out real quick. This is just random. I'm gonna just randomly. I'm sitting in front of my, the libraries, right? This is just a random selection of just some books I just pulled out. Let's see what we got here. Ha ha ha! Funny, right? Rand Paul taking a stand. Moving beyond partisan politics to unite America. Chris Chang, Shoot to Win. Tips, tactics, and techniques on how to shoot like a pro. Good buddy of mine. Overturning the Culture of Violence by Penny Hess. This person is like a communist socialist. They run an organization, the Uhuru Furniture Spot in Philadelphia, right? How to Stay Alive in the Woods. I got this from the Duluth Trading Company. Why am I saying this? Anywhere that I grab a handful of books from under this bookshelf, it's going to give you a more layered thought. I dig Rand Paul too. It's going to give you a more layered thought process. I got the Communist Manifesto over there. I got Socialism from the Christian Standpoint, which was written way back in the day in there. I got on Tyranny over there. I got, let's see what, let's pull out. Let me not look because y'all going to think I'm, you know what I mean? Let's pull out another section. If you never read this, you should. The Natural Genesis by Gerald Massey. Okay? Very good book. Okay? Random. These are random pulls. The Creature from Jekyll Island on how the fucking Federal Reserve was actually created. Nutricide, the nutritional destruction of the black race by, rest in peace, Dr. Laila Africa. Guide to Hair for Beginners, because I was trying to learn how to do my motherfucking daughter's hair. Why am I saying this? You have to be well-versed and well-rounded. It's not just about picking one person and riding that till the wheels fall off. Even if Trump would have gotten 2 terms, it still comes to an end in 8 years. To return and course correct America, we got to get back to these values and principles that are beneficial to save the constitutional republic. Somebody just asked me if I read Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper. Abso-fucking-lutely. I read that when I was fucking 19. You know what I'm saying? My point in saying this is Brandon Tatum did exactly what I thought he was going to do. And it's not just him. He's a microcosm of the macrocosm. And the reason why I'm speaking to you all right now is because A, he did exactly what I said he was going to do in 2019 is when I said it. He's not the only one that's going to do it. They're all going to try to make it seem like Trump was the bad guy because they have to find a new grift. If it was about the principle, they would have called, I'm a Second Amendment guy, right? I'm a freedom and liberty guy. Second Amendment, Black Guns Matter, right? When Trump had the layup, the administration, they had this getting silencers off of the fucking NFA item list that was tied and rolled up into the Hearing Protection Act. They had the House and the Senate, meaning Republicans, and the presidency. It stalled because he's not a pro-2A guy. I was critical of him then. Getting an endorsement from the NRA is mostly made up of FUDs. That's not a diss. That is a statement of fact. Ronald Reagan said Americans should not have machine guns. Ronald Reagan said that. That is not pro-2A. They hold Ronald Reagan in this high regard, right? But he said very unconstitutional shit, period. If you are about the concept and the principle of that concept, you have to understand it thoroughly first. And you have to read other things to challenge that belief system and that concept. And if it's legit, it'll hold up to that scrutiny. These people, like him, and there's a few others that are pushed to the forefront because for America to actually be saved, we need more people like me and many of y'all that are in this live right now. We don't need the same status bootlicking shit, blue for a little bit, then red for a little bit. That's what these types represent. And I wanted to share that with you all because it's very important. Oh, Republicans are the dumbest. That sounds like AOC. That sounds like Kamala Harris saying, oh, Charlamagne, you're starting to sound like a Republican. That's the same talking point. But he's saying it to distance himself because his bullshit is becoming more and more apparent because of people like me going, yo, you want some bullshit and or just being the true and living. Just being the true and living. Just being libertarian. Me openly saying, I carry a gun everywhere. I don't care about your gun-free zone. I have an inherent natural right codified in the Second Amendment in these Bill of Rights to this Constitution of these United States of America that is not granted by government and cannot be taken away by government. So yeah, I carry a gun in Chicago. No, I'm not licensed to carry in Chicago. I'm actually a free man. I'm actually cut from the cloth of the founding fathers, or the people that trained ideologically that everybody was biting off of, that didn't get the love that they were supposed to as the founding fathers, like Thomas Paine. I'm from that fucking cloth. The dude that was like, liberty, that's it. Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death. Thomas Paine was telling him like, nah, you can't say, Thomas Jefferson, you can't write the Declaration of Independence and then own humans. It's a contradiction. He said it during a time when it was uncomfortable to say it. That's what America needs. We don't need more basic bitches. We need less basic bitches. We need bad bitches. You understand what I'm saying? We need higher levels of thought. We need more context. We need people to challenge their own value system to either strengthen it or eradicate it for something better for their individual liberties, for their families, and for the collective good. You understand? So I brought this up to y'all quickly because I was in the bed. I was relaxing, and I seen this goofy shit. And I wanted to be very clear, very quickly, on why it's very important for us all to lean towards actual conservatism. Let me grab another random book and see if it has something to do with conservatism. Oh, boom. Okay, cool. Here we go. Why the Federal Reserve Sucks. Great one. Deacons for Defense and what that was about. Tyranny Comes Home, the domestic fate of U.S. militarism. So when people like Tatum are talking this goofy shit about more police back to blue, that's what they're asking for. More of a fucking military police state. But he isn't well read enough to understand that. He jumped on a regular thing and then was like, yeah, some basic shit. This nonviolent stuff will get you killed. All of this stuff is around here, and I want to challenge us all to start looking into libertarianism, the ideology. There's some goofballs in the National Party. Clear. Look into the concept. Start looking into going into libertarian ideology and independent. And understand that you're about to see a lot of these types start to make the shift. They know that they can't sustain money on riding Trump dick for 2 more years and then hope he wins in 2024 if he decides to run. Okay? Let's all make sure we're highlighting legitimate conservative voices, legitimate liberty and independent voices, and don't just become a libertarian. Go independent. Go Green Party if that works for you. I'm just saying the ideology of libertarianism and the conservative values are very important, and we got to start highlighting that. Let me take some more of these questions. If you just came in, smash that thumbs up button. 40 Central, what's up? Hey, y'all go follow 40 Central, the podcast we got out. We did that a little while ago. I appreciate that super chat. Let me go on a little bit more. We have to talk black and white and yellow with all of what you said, 100%. Let's go up a little bit more to another super chat. If you want to do a super chat, because I'm about to get out of here. Little Sister Green Tree gave $5 to the super chat. Super Seamster Sewing Show said, Teach, thanks for answering my Novax Stack Silver, my question. Appreciate that super chat. Let's go up a little bit more. I know I missed a few of y'all. Frederick Douglas said, thanks for the plug. Tatum's a goof. And again, y'all, I want to be clear. This isn't me disrespecting him as a human. You know what I'm saying? This isn't me disrespecting him as a human. This is me completely trashing his ideology and his grift. If he wants to be better with his bigger platform, what he can do is take some time to actually study and know what conservative values are about. That will give him, he will be great if he could get better at actually being a conservative and not a bootlicking status. Okay? Mr. Mystery says, where do I draw the line with arms, machine guns? The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's where I stand. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's exactly where I stand. No infringement. Ira Brownridge Jr. with the $5 super sticker. I appreciate that. What are the recommended books again? Hey, we're going to look, everybody, email solutionarylifestyle@gmail.com. Say, add me to the list, add me to the newsletter, just in case they take this page and like they took the Instagram. so we can send that. We're going to start putting that in. Those things are already in the newsletter. So solutionary lifestyle. Somebody type that in here real quick so I can put it up. Solutionarylifestyle@gmail. Okay. GoFundMe.com/Black Guns Matter. Donate, give what you can. Appreciate everybody for the super chats tonight. I really, really appreciate all of the sharing, the super chats and things of that nature. Please, please, please say, I'm going to save this. When you get it, share it about, chop it up, and add him. Share it on your platform. It'll get to him. You ain't even got to add him, or not even him. And I want to be clear. Let me, because I don't want to seem like I'm bullying Brandon. Okay. It's not a bully. He's a human being that has a child, that has a wife. He's a black man, whether he wants to acknowledge that or not. Okay. He's a black man. He's a human. I think intrinsically, I think he may be a good person. Okay. But his fucking grift, and especially coming at me with that type of grift that's so transparent and got so many holes in it, bro, you are surrounded in an elevated position. I got the high ground and you have no fucking cover. Doing that with somebody like me, you're going to get stitched the fuck up. Get better. Use that platform and that popularity that you have to actually generate. This could be a good thing for the movement. Use that. I don't think he will, but study some more. Acknowledge that you don't really read or study very much. Anyone with half a brain can see you don't. Study more. Get better. Use your platform to actually strengthen conservative values, strengthen individual liberty, and help us potentially save this constitutional republic. All right, I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all be safe. Be solutionary.